Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can apply with those emotes. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, you can lurk. Totally okay. Currently, we are at 30 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about how many subscribers I have when I hit 40 subscribers. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It is a Saturday night. The plan is to finally finish up the Black Knight Squad Calria. The Calria is body complete, but I need to build the backpack, and then I need to put the effects parts on the backpack. And it's just, there's stuff left. There's a bunch of stuff left to do. And so I need to do those things. Is there anything else I really need to say besides that? Up top, I don't know. We had a great raid on Thursday. Oops. Sorry. We had a great raid on Thursday, so that was really fun. It's nice to have people pop in. So I've got, let's see, tonight we'll talk about anime in the second hour. We'll talk about some video game stuff. There's some news of the world in entertainment things that we'll chat about. Finally, get caught up on Sakamoto days, which I'm a week behind on. So we'll be able to get caught up on that, which is good. I was a week behind on covering it, so we'll be able to do that. And I'll just basically, next Monday, I'm just going to re-explain Zenshu because I stopped talking before. Okay, so this is a fun thing. I talk about, anime. I do my recap of the episodes, right? A bunch of people came in just as I was about to say on Thursday, and then this character died, which would have been a big thing if you're not like one of the regulars. Like, it was already a big deal for regulars to hear about that. It's another deal for people that were just coming here because they were hanging out on Puppet Jared's stream because they like Jake Young's nonsense. So it was very funny for me to be like, just about to say, oh, and also this motherfucker, this thing happened. So I didn't say that, and instead I chose to hold it. So we'll talk about that on Monday. I'll recap the previous episode again and talk about the new episode that's happening this weekend. But tonight I can talk about the 2 episodes of Sakamoto Days that have aired since I last talked about Sakamoto Days. I'm just like, it's a funny thing where I'm like, I'm caught like behind because I took that Thursday stream off to go stream with my friend Xandra. So then I didn't talk about anime there. And now I'm like weirdly playing catch up about anime. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Anyway, what should I do here? I should. Oh, yeah. Also, I'm behind because on Monday I didn't talk about anime because on Monday I really wanted to talk about yeah, that's what happened on Monday. Monday, I just talked about wrestling because I had lots of thoughts. Let's go to the overhead camera, and then I'm going to switch the lighting here to be better for this. I look much more pale in this lighting, but the build looks better in that lighting, so we'll go with that. We're body complete in the kit. I got the gun out here. We've got the backpack. We're going to finish the backpack, and then we're going to do the alternate version of the backpack because there are 2 versions, and we're going to build both. I will briefly just say, another thing you can do is you can take off all these components from the backpack and make them into like little flyers, and then you can put short beam sabers on them. So I will show you that. I am not going to do that because I don't have a bunch of stands, because the idea is that you pop off a bottom bit here. Let's see if I can do that without losing it. Okay, yes. You pop out a bottom bit, and now you can put that on a small stand, which I'm not going to do, but I will show you what it looks like if you put the saber parts on there, or the beam saber parts on there, the short beams. And I do have enough short beams for every single one of these, which is too many short beams. I'm saving them because you never know when I might need them. I don't know why I would. Here's the thing. What I'll probably do is throw them away later. I will probably toss these later, but for now, I'll just show you how this looks. This is the thing you can do with these things to turn them into little flyers, and you can do that. And that's very silly, but fun. And you can have a bunch of them. And if you're in space, this is a cool thing. You control it from the Gundam, and they fly into things. I don't know. But if you had a thing with 2 beam sabers coming out of it flying at you, you'd be freaked out. So I get it. Pop this in here. Pop that in there. All right. So I wanted to show that, but I'm not going to do all of them. Like I said, I have a ton of these. I have so many of these, but we don't need to worry about that. I do have other effects parts that we will look at later, which are these, which is the second phase of the backpack, is to use these lovely effects parts here. So we'll have to do that for the Calria. But that's after I'm finished assembling. I have done the backpack part. I have done the 4 parts that are called C. I have done the 4 parts that are called D. We're doing step E here. I have 1 piece out for step E because I took this out by mistake. We will have more stickers to apply. We do have enough stickers for the rest of this, and that's the last stickers because these are all the eyeball alternates. Got a lot of that. Let's get into it. So we need... Oh, these are other parts here. Okay, so I need all of these. Get all of these out. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I don't know how much I want to talk about some stuff, so I'm going to be probably vague and just say that not me myself, but the family. There's some illness and some stuff going on. And it's not great. And so that has been kind of the focus. So I have been a little scattershot in my attention the last few days. I just been helping out, doing a lot more than I normally would do, just to make sure that things are getting taken care of. And again, I'm keeping this vague, but it's been a lot. So I did escape into my own world today to focus on video production because I had to record 2 upcoming episodes of Kuma Baer that'll go out this Wednesday and the following Wednesday to finish off Girls Doing Things month on Kuma Baer. And then I also found the time today to record the next episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, which comes out on Monday. So that was 2 videos that 3 videos that I shot today. Yesterday, I actually shot 3 other videos. So you may know this. I tweeted about 2 of them. WWE 2K25 came out. And since WWE 2K22, a thing that I have done is I have made a video. Every time that one of those games comes out, I've made a video explaining how to... start CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K blank, whatever it is. And the honest to God reason that I've done that and why I continue to do that. All right, so I need this to be D8. D8 needs to go into these. Do I have any D8? D8 is here. Oh, okay. Looks like I put 2 of these in the wrong thing. That'll be fine. These are fine. This will all be cool. So the reason why I keep doing the video is because it's annoying to figure it out. When I first started playing 2K22, I didn't know how to do it. I did not know how to set up those games and those kinds of matches. I was very frustrated. So I made a video about that in 22, and I did it again for 23 and 24. And then I also added a new thing in 24 because in 2K24 they added a new setting for PC players that you could switch on, which was a really excellent thing, which allowed you to set up so that it's a mode that helps with slowdown, which we found when we had multiplayer matches and there was a lot of slowdown. And it was starting to be a real pain in the ass and look really bad. And I was like, oh, there's a way to fix that on PC. So I made a video about how to fix that on PC because I thought that would help people. These videos are my most popular videos. Usually, they do way better than anything else that I make. And they're short, to the point. I could make them longer so that I would not just get pre-roll ads. I would get like the 5-second watch this whole thing before it starts kind of ads. I could make it so that I wouldn't, make it so that people don't have to watch that, or make it longer so I can make even more money. But I don't do that because I want people to actually benefit from this. So sorry, I'm just checking right quick here. These look identical, these little pieces, but they might be slightly different. So I'm whatever, I don't care. I actually don't care if they're slightly different. So anyway, so I made 2 of those videos for WWE 2K25 because they changed it from 24 to 25. They have changed a fundamental way that you make CPU versus CPU matches. I think it's smarter and better, but it's different than how it was. And so I can see a world where people are going to mess up and be really annoyed because suddenly the thing that they've been doing for years doesn't work anymore. So I made that. I've already had a comment of someone being like, oh, thank God someone made a video on this. So great. I feel good about that. And then I also reshot the video and made a short. And in a day, it is the best YouTube short, or most viewed YouTube short I've ever made. I had to configure some stuff to make it work out, but I did, and it did work out. Hold on one second. Let me just bookmark something right here. All right, so then we'll go to YouTube Studio here. But yes, so I want to look at it and see how we did here. How to set up CPU versus CPU matches in WWE 2K25. Please understand that this video has been up for a little over a day, and it has 464 views in a day. My Bloom Into You video has been up for 3 weeks and has 500 views. Now, it could get buried because sometimes shorts just stop getting sent out to people, but there's a chance that it will break 1,000 by the end of tomorrow. It's totally possible that it will pick up steam and suddenly do well. It's wild how well that did in a day. That's 464 views in about, like I said, in 24 hours is ridiculous for me to do that. But it just goes to show that people do want those answers. And even the fact that the regular video, in again, a little over 24 hours, the CPU versus CPU matches has been watched 33 times, the regular length video. And the how to reduce slowdown in WWE 2K25 has 21 views. So that makes me very happy. That's very good. Will this be a trend? Will I chase this? Will I make more short form videos about WWE 2K24 to facilitate rapid growth? No, I won't. That's not what I want to do. That's not the plan. That's not the objective. That's nothing. I literally just wanted to make those because I was doing it wrong in 2K22. I could not figure out how to do it in regular play modes, so I was doing it by starting the thing I ended up doing was I would go into the GM mode and draft people that I wanted to have in matches, and then put those people over numerous accounts, and then put those people in match types. And that's unbelievably unnecessary, but I didn't know any better. So I just want to help people out. That's all it is. Just want to help people out. Um, so yeah, basically the last 2 days I've just done a lot of video. I made 3 videos yesterday and 3 videos today, one of which is, long form, the other are fairly short form in comparison, but still, bunch of videos got made, and hopefully some people will get some help in the stuff they're working on, because that would be nice. I need the last 2 of these. 2 more of these. Then we can button this all up, put stickers on them, and then panel line them. And then we have more things to build. As I said, this backpack, like, we might not get to Lego until way late in the stream. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but there's a lot of steps to this backpack. It's incredibly detailed. This kit was pricey, but totally worth it because it looks fucking rad as hell. I'm very happy to be working on it. I hope you're all doing well. This might be a laid back stream here on a Saturday. Sometimes my Saturdays are popping. Sometimes my Saturdays are chill as hell, and that's okay. And I don't mind that. All right, that went together. Got to snap all these together. Put the purple stickers on them. Finish up the stickers, and then we need to panel line these so they look good. Because these are part of the focal point of the kit, I would say. I know this kit has a gun and 2 swords, and these swords look cool as hell. I wish it had a scythe. I think that's the only thing this kit really is missing is a scythe. I think that would be cool as hell. Maybe I'll do that for photos. Put a scythe on there. I've got them. I've got some model kit scythes put on there if I want to. So we're going to get into this early because I didn't talk about it on Thursday. To recap, before we get deep into it, there is currently some strike action happening with some voice actors in the video game space. And I do need to make this stuff very clear. Basically, there are negotiations happening. Sorry, hold on one sec. Okay, fine. Currently, there are negotiations happening between representatives of SAG-AFTRA, who are representing SAG-AFTRA members who are voice actors, looking for protections. And the big holdout with not every game company, but a lot of games companies are when it comes to AI protections, because they don't want to sign shit like that. And now other game companies that are not part of the negotiation have been asked in many times to honor contracts with interim deals to basically support the things that that these voice actors through representation are looking for. And a lot of these things are beyond the AI protections. A lot of these are like being able to say what you were in once it comes out. Just, there's a lot of like NDA nonsense that voice actors want to be able to brag about the things they did to get future work. There's stuff like that. There's protections for your voice, how many hours you can work without and then having a legally mandated break, payment stuff, all kinds of things in negotiations. But this is the one sticking point is AI. And we're already now seeing I won't get too deep into the leaked stuff of the tests for new dialogue for Eloy, and then the voice actors saying I have not said any of those things, and that's chilling to me that they could just create new lines for the character I gave life to just say whatever, and which is chilling. So 2 things came out related to AI voices and all of that. The first one is to do with the strike. The second one does not seem to be in the strike. We'll talk about Zenless Zone Zero, have replaced 2 voice actors, and those voice actors found out for sure that they had been replaced when patch notes came out. So they did not get the heads up. Are they legally required to get the heads up? Of course not. Would you hope that that would? Yes. One of them is a SAG-AFTRA member. The other one is not, but was just looking for parity. And it's a bummer. Again, they're totally within their rights to do that. It's just a very bad look. This is Amir Chase and Nicholas Thurkettle. Thurkettle? Thurkettle. I think it's Thurkettle. I think I said it wrong a lot. But they found out they were cast due to absence because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. They respectively played Soldier 11 and Lycion. Discovered they were replaced in a recent patch for the game released earlier this week. Chase said that she was unwilling to perform work not covered by a SAG interim agreement during a strike for AI protections. Yeah. Let's see. We do know that there are some different companies have been responding differently to this strike. Destiny 2 and Genshin Impact said that certain lines for upcoming lines wouldn't be voiced. Riot Games is using previous VO for some skins. They're just recycling previous skin VO they already have. And some characters in Black Ops 6 were recast. So the different companies doing different things. The other person involved who was not part of SAG-AFTRA said he was also in the dark on his recasting, and called developers' plans for AI voice replicas an existential threat. I took a personal stand to ask for protection and had to be willing to give up the best thing that's ever happened in my professional life. I stand by my choice. Both of them are like, yeah, and we got replaced, but like it's bigger than that. And if they're willing to replace, then that says a lot. So, yeah. Sound Cadence, who handle they're the recording studio that does a bunch of stuff, including the recent some Digimon, both anime and video games, and the recent Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, released a statement saying that all of their contracts have explicit AI protections regardless of union status, which doesn't seem to be true, but okay. But certainly not interim, level, certainly. But yeah. Let's see if there's any information I can give you besides that. Chase did do some clarification, which I'll include here, which I think is good. I'd like to clarify there's a difference between being struck and not being on an interim agreement. Union projects that begin work prior to the strike and non-union projects are not struck, but they also do not offer the union-enforced AI rights we are fighting for. Many actors are choosing to voluntarily withhold work on these categories of projects because we feel is our best way to support the union's fight for the protections that are critical to our continued ability to create the art we love. I knew that by withholding work, it was possible I'd replaced, though of course I hoped they would choose to leave her silent until I was able to return. I found out the role was recast today alongside all of you. And then, yeah. So basically, the actual company, Yohoverse, has not put out a statement as of yesterday. And these articles that I'm referencing have not been updated. So basically, if you're working on non-union, it's not necessarily that you are. It is in some ways you could say is a sympathy strike. In other ways, is just on contract per contract basis. It is people saying, hey, I would like this company to honor the interim agreement and go by it. And if the company chooses to go a different direction, then they will face the consequences of that. And I think that's fair. I think that is withholding work for taking a stand like that is fucking brave. And I don't throw shade at the people that, especially non-union folks that are doing that now. Is it scab work to go and say yes and take a role that someone gave up because they will not work without a contract? That's up for debate. People throw the word scab around a lot. I would say when the writer's strike, the 2008 writer's strike happened, and late night hosts went back to work without a script. They said, well, producers are doing an outline and then it's we're improvising the content. The people those hosts were scabs. Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, all of those guys were scabs because they were also writers. Even if they weren't writing anything, they were still SAG-AFTRA writers, because to be the host of a show is also to be a writer on the show. So they were scabbing by doing that show. Simple case of that. If there is a strike and actors are not doing the work, and you do the work, that's a scab. Most soap operas are not part of the union, but are the same union. But there was a sympathy strike happening, and then some shows chose to avoid that sympathy strike by bringing actors in and doing incomplete scripts, which was very noticeable. But yeah, if you ever hear someone say, well, they should hire me, I'll just do it. Those are scabs. If somebody says that they'll take the job, they'll cross the picket line, they'll take the job of someone and do it in a non-union capacity, then that person is a scab. Taking work, like the person who was replaced Soldier 11 in Zenless Zone Zero, is that scab work? So all voice actors on that are not it's not. It's a bad look. Especially after the fact, if you know the reason why you have that job is because somebody is saying, hey, I won't do this work without this agreement. And you say, oh, I'll do that work without an agreement. It's a bad look, but I don't think it's technically scab work. Now, if a video game company or a middleman studio that does voice acting says, hey, you are in the union and we want to offer you a union contract, but not the interim contract, and you say, yeah, sure, then that to me is scab work. If you are union. If you are non-union and it is a non-union production and they're like, hey, what if you came and did this? It's murky. I don't like it, but also that's because a lot of voice acting and stuff is done non-union, which is a shame, and more should be, and hopefully this will help that happen, the process. Now, on the other side, talking about AI, we should talk about some AI stuff. Let's talk about the indie developer Serene Quest Works. Serene Quest Works, the makers of Castle of Secrets, they have been accused of hiring human voice actors for their work, which is not the crime, and then firing those voice actors and replacing them with performances made by generative AI. This came from voice actor Mika Narada, who claims the studio decided they wanted to use AI-trained voices for its debut game and canned every voice actor they had, refusing other talent on board. And then a picture in the past from fellow voice actor Ian Mitchell showed he was also banned from Castle Steam's hub for personal hostility and imposing their position. A now deleted post on the game's forums claimed the studio used AI to make voice actors sound like multiple different people instead of having the actor act out as the characters. Make it less authentic as the computers. It makes it less authentic as the computer's doing the voices. So, Narita told game developer, who I'm reading this article from, that she was initially cast under the belief that she was meant to replace the game's initial AI placeholder voices, which, you know, is a shitty practice, but I understand putting placeholders in for game feel and all that, instead of having developers take time out to do voice work, which is placeholder voice, which is what a lot of time used to happen. And that's actually how you had a lot of studio people suddenly in the voices because they just liked it and never replaced it, or they were lazy and never replaced it, or they had no money and so they just kept it. That's why you get stuff like that. Oftentimes those voice actors or those people doing voice acting did not expect to be kept on the project. They just were kept on the project. All right, so I'm gonna do the long ones here. All right, I did 2 of these long ones. I got to do 2 more. Then I'm going to erase and clean them up. Both she and Mitchell, later allegedly Serene double-backed and implied AI would be used in some capacity. So then they said, hey, what? No. And then everyone was fired. Once the studio... yes, it exists forever. You just need voices for blocking and whatnot. Yes. Yeah, temporary voice stuff is a part of the business, right? And so saying instead of having Mitch, who's writing on the game, do a bunch of deadpan lines, we just fed them into an AI voice thing, and then we have the AI voice. And it's like, okay, as long as that's not going into the game, because that's fucked, and no AI is without breaching copyright. So every AI voice is fucking tainted if you're creating with it, because a lot of the AI voices we hear are based on people who did not consent to this. But apparently everybody was kicked out. So per Mitchell, actors were fired before voice recording was set to begin. So they didn't actually even fucking record the voice stuff. He said that generative voices are more than a simple voice filter, and they make you sound like a different person completely. So yeah, they're just they're basically trying to get voice acting for free, basically. This was to save on cost of different voice actors, even though the voice actor who auditioned could do a massive range of voices for them. We asked to just let us voice act instead of letting the computer do it for us. He also revealed one member of the team had agreed to actors' proposed terms, but was removed hours later while working on the document. Mitchell says the cast was subsequently let go, and Serene told the actors it was switching back to AI voice changers and resorting to cheap Fiverr VAs to replace us. So not only did they say, yeah, we're going to keep just using AI, they also said, we're also going to hire people for no money. We're just going to get bad voice actors. Now, look, maybe there's some great people out there just for getting their reels together are doing Fiverr. But come the fuck on. Also pay those people really well. Pay those people what they deserve and not fucking $5 or $10 or whatever the fuck you're going to pay them. Just because they're on that. Come on. Let's see. Castle of Secrets AI generated content disclosure on Steam acknowledges the game has sometimes generated voice acting. Hooray! According to Narita, the acknowledgement was on the page prior to actors being booked. In a follow-up post, Narita said Serene Quest doesn't have any content of mine that would allow them to steal, take, or sample me. She also made her feelings on technology clear, and I'm loving GameDeveloper.com. I applaud you for not editing this comment and including it in full. She also made her feelings on the technology clear. Fuck AI. Shit's stupid. Create authentically. I love that. I love that that was her statement, and that GameDeveloper.com was like, yeah, we will definitely put that. We will definitely include that quote verbatim. I love that for them. I love that for us. Game developer has reached out to Serene Gameworks and publisher Wandering Wizard, and will update if a response is given. It's all fucked. The idea that they were like, what? We can't take your voice and use AI to generate it? You're so against AI? Well, fine. Fuck you. Is such a Bush League thing. Now, we will hear in the future. I'm going to tell you this right now. You know this. I know this. We know this thing. People are going to say, we can't afford voice actors. This is the only thing we can do. You're going to hear that. Even though other teams have done it. Teams beside you have done it. Teams have done it no problem. Spirit Swap, which just came out, which I love, they had trouble with some of their voice casts because they wanted some authenticity in some of their voices, and they had trouble casting, and they had to reach out a wider net. They did not rely on AI to make up the difference. They just took longer to find the voice talent that they needed for their project. And the game is better for it. If you don't have money to pay for voices, don't have voices in your game. You just don't. If you don't have the scope, you don't do the feature. That is classic in that. Like, and so okay, you don't have voice talent. You're gonna add in voices later once it's sold, or it'll never have voices in it, and your game is not, you've had to take a concession in order to get your game out the door. Okay, that's fine. People will believe that. Also, hey, here's a fun selling point. We don't have any voice acting in this game because we couldn't, we did not have the development funds for it, and we did not want to give you cheap, terrible, and bad generative AI voice acting. So instead, we have no voice acting. I would love to hear that. That would be a selling point to me, that you value creativity so much that you, because you didn't have the funds for it, chose to not have any voices instead of bullshit nonsense that would make me not want to play your game. I have not run into any video games that I'm aware of right now. Well, there's some stuff I know. There's a free-to-play... There's a free-to-play out there that I know that some voices in there are AI generated. I can't remember the name of it, that I've seen some footage of, but I haven't myself played it. Damn Kids. Yes, The Finals. Thank you, Dizzy. The Finals is that game that I have definitely heard it in there, but I haven't played it for myself. I'll tell you where I have. I'm going to read this comment from Dizzy, and then I will say where I have heard AI in video games. Heard it. Damn Kids, in my day, it was a special thing when games had voices. I know, where you're like, well, that's certainly somebody in the who answers the phones is certainly this voice actor for this game. You know where I've heard it is in, I haven't done this in a while. This is probably like 2 years ago now. I was still, as far as even as 2 years ago, still playing Fallout 4, and I started hearing voices in mods, AI voices in mods. Now, sometimes voiced mods because people were still making mods for New Vegas, they're still making mods for Skyrim, they're making mods for Fallout 4. Sometimes you would see something like, oh, these are our voices, and you go, okay. And sometimes you would hear voices and you go, oh, this is somebody on a website that got a script and read it, and it's very clear there wasn't any directing. That's impressive. That's neat. Or you'd play a mod and there wouldn't be any voices in the game. And you're like, okay, that's weird, but all right. There was a mod. There's like a minor character in Fallout 4 that you can ask to go and move to one of your settlements, and it's bugged. It used to be able to. You could get her to say yes, and then she won't go. So somebody made a mod to bring her, and they got someone to do a sound alike for the character to fill in lines, written lines that were never recorded, to fill in this, to kind of make it a full feature thing for the game, which I thought was interesting. They could have tried to take a bunch of voice samples to make sound alikes and done with AI, and they didn't. But I have seen some mods when I was towards the end of me still playing Fallout 4 and playing with mods. I did hear some mods that were clearly using AI voices, and they didn't sound great. Fiverr literally exists. You can pay a voice actor with basically zero friction in the interaction. Yeah, like I said, look, the idea that this company was told a bunch of voice actors, well, you're so annoying about these AI stuff that we're just going to fire you. We're going to hire people on Fiverr and then use AI to generate other additional lines from their voices is like the scummiest shit. But yes, also, if you have no budget for your actual video game that you are making for money, then you don't get voice acting if you don't have the money to pay voice actors. If you are doing a mod and you insist on having it be voice acted, do the fucking voices yourself or make it a community thing. If you are still deep in a mod scene, there are people that will record voice lines for you. And that's happened. We've heard that before, and that's happened before. One very fun thing that I've seen out there, which I think is phenomenal, is HoloLive. HoloLive lets you make fan games. HoloLive, the people what bring you, owned by Cover, what bring you all of the fun little things out there for HoloLive's VTubers. All those VTubers are part of HoloLive. You can make fan games with the characters in there as long as you're not making any money. And also, the VTubers play the fan games on stream. And it's very cool and fun. And it's always a labor of love. And it's often made by super fans of the different games. And there's one that has voice lines in it from a bunch of recordings of like clips of famous moments for the characters. And a couple of these HoloLive VTubers were like, hey, I reached out to re-record the line because it's garbled audio because my mic wasn't good when I was doing it. So I re-recorded the line because I want that line to be better in the game. It's just like, but that can just happen. You can just make that shit happen out there. It's a odd example of that, but it totally like it's not hard. And again, also, if you were a game studio making a fucking video game, you got to pay your talent to do stuff. You can't jump around like this. Fucking shitty. Ashley Birch's career literally started doing voice lines and random fan projects on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, the fan project to actual job is wild. Friends of mine got their start by doing sound alikes and impressions of people, and then getting hired not to do impressions, but to do voice acting because people were like, "Oh wow, you're really good." I mean, fucking ProZD, Sungwon Cho is in video games and anime, famous video games, famous anime, because he was posting audio clips of impressions on Tumblr. His goofy impression is so good that he started getting voice acting work because people were like, I would like to work with you know who's cool and a good voice actor is Sungwon Cho. We should get Sungwon in here. He's got a great deep voice. We should get him in here to do some voices. Because he got popular enough on the internet that he started going to conventions, and then people who were doing characters that he did impressions of wanted to do bits with him. like the original voice actor of Ash from Pokemon. They did a whole fucking sketch. He calls them skits, and he can call them skits because he makes them. I don't like the word skit. I prefer sketch. We've been over this on stream, but he if he wants to call them skits, he can call them skits. But they did a skit where both of them were Ash from Pikachu. Sorry, Ash and Pikachu, and it was very fun. I just said Ash from Pikachu. That's hilarious. And it was very fun, but also it was one of these where you're like, yeah, all right, he should be getting work. He's very good at it, but he started in the fan community. He's great in Dungeon Meshi. He really is. Yeah. He's a phenomenal voice actor. But yeah, you got to start doing that. There are voice actors that have come out of the world of fan edits and fan videos and all that stuff. And it totally has a way of just like becoming a thing. Like that is a door into that world is to do that. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's a shame that people are just going to start using AI for their jokes instead of, I don't have a good Obama. I'm going to ask this comedian I know who has a really good Obama to do Obama for me. And instead it was like, well, I'll just use this AI Obama generator for this joke. It's like, you're putting impressionists out of work. A lot of people are going to be out of work for this shit, but also impressionists, and we're not thinking about the impressionists enough out there. I'm going to panel line this first. The thing about this AI stuff that bothers me most is just, bro, what do you think is going to spend the money to buy your product if you fire everyone and replace them with AI? Yeah, I mean, it really is that thing where it's just like, and there are people who are like, AI art is fine. I like this. I like this aesthetic. I like what's happening here. And there are people who are just like, oh, the voice acting isn't real? Okay, I don't listen to voice acting anyway. I turn that shit off or I just ignore it anyway. There are people who are like, whatever. But those people were probably going to buy the game either way. The people who are not going to buy the game are people who are like, so what other shortcuts are you taking? Like, if you use speed tree in your game to generate a bunch of, like, if you're using that kind of technology, awesome. That's a shortcut. That makes sense. Why are you going to pay a modeler to do unique trees all over the place? You should use speed tree. That sounds great. I think that's totally reasonable, and I think it's totally understandable. But if you're like, if I find out you're using AI voices, like, well, what else did you use generative AI for? What else did you steal? Like, it's a difference between doing like a generator of stuff and then like using generative AI to make things that's been trained. No, like, was the writing done with AI? Did anybody actually touch this? It's like, were the character portraits done with AI? Were the there was a thing, I think like last year or maybe the year before, where someone got accused of using AI to make some character designs for and he was like, oh, I didn't do this. No, I made this art based on real photos. And it turns out the real photos were just kind of like rough and not great. So the source material was bad. It was like, oh, so you're just a bad artist. You can understand why we thought you might be using AI. Yeah, it's just frustrating. But yeah, it is like that thing of just like, well, if you don't invest the time and energy, why would I? Why would I invest the time, money, and energy for your thing if you're not going to like actually do the work? Why? Why do you think so little of me? Speaking of thinking little of people, Netflix games. Mike Verdu. You may remember Mike Verdu. He was, up until very recently, the VP of Netflix Games. And he's no longer at Netflix, which is probably unrelated. He was at Netflix Games as their vice president of AI, and he's a big proponent of AI. He had a lot of nice things to say about AI, and it's being the future of the business. And now he's not there anymore, which might have nothing to do with it. But Uh, basically, the end of last year, he left the role because they brought in some new people. Because originally he was just the vice president of the division of the games division, and then he got moved to generative AI VP because he loves AI so much. Let's see. We don't know if how well those games are doing. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know what he's doing next, but he's not there anymore. So at the very least, there is no longer at Netflix Games a VP of AI, which sounds great. There also have been, don't forget, there's also been some layoffs and some studio closures within Netflix Games. So it might be related to that. Who knows? There was a great short on YouTube about how AI could never create this famous painting because the painting was of 6 patrons of this artist, and the AI will never be able to convey his perspective on, oh God, are these people going to fire me if I paint them ugly? Yeah. I mean, it's the creativity element, right? That's a big thing. It's a big thing. Element of it is that the human, if you want to reproduce things, AI will consistently, it will. Hey, Lord Crashington, AI will get better at replicating. Eventually, we'll have the less of the 6 fingers. We'll have less of the weird faces. We'll have less of the jank will reduce over time because technology improves over time. And if it is actually, learning is a bad way to say it, but machine learning elements of that, it will get better. But it's still not creative. It's still not, the whole thing where we were saying about how, or they were saying we're feeding all this data of game footage and it's spitting back, eventually it'll help us make the game or recreate the game. And there were all of that shit that it was doing, that Microsoft was showing off, or Phil Spencer was showing off. It was a 320 by 320 animated GIF. That's all it could do. It wasn't making code. It wasn't making levels. It wasn't spitting out more of the stages. It was just making, it's all of that manpower, all of that energy, all of that thought process was just to make a little video of it. And that's exciting. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not exciting. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's just fucking smoke and mirrors. It does feel like the bottom is getting ready to fall of AI, and every tech company except OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google are slowly backing away. Even Apple backed away. Yes. Apple has backed away from this is our whole fucking thing because Apple is pretty good at realizing that, when to back off of a thing. OpenAI's last salvo right now is just to say, hey, if we can't break copyright, then this isn't going to work, which is okay, then it doesn't work. But their hope is that enough people want it to work and are so invested in it working that they'll just fake it till they make it and make it happen. I don't think that's going to go the way they want to, because I don't think it's a weird thing. They need to get around copyright to save democracy. Yeah. So it's a weird thing where you're oh no, they just said the wrong thing. The other monsters that hate creativity, but they love money, are awakening. If you're telling me that generative AI can get to train on Disney properties, well, then they're all dead, right? They're all done. Yeah, Blue Sky's response to that was, we'll die then. Yes, basically. But if you're saying that generative AI projects that OpenAI can, without impugnment, can create things based on generative works that they took from Disney. Ooh, that ain't gonna fly. Now, they could say, oh, well, we don't do that. That's not one we touch. But we can't track down every single thing that we've fed into that, and take out the things that don't belong. We don't have permission for, so we shouldn't be liable for it. It's just like, oh, that's not gonna fly. Like once you start getting into the bigger companies, then that becomes the thing. Which is why they're looking to get bigger names behind them, and so that they have their own protections from it. But it's all fucked. Yeah, and once again, we are hoping that the big companies who do not want this to happen are the ones that stop it from happening, which is still, again, likely, still possible that could happen. That these big companies are just like, actually, no, you don't get to do this. Who knows, though? All right, I need one D and one E. Goes in like this. How does it go? Oh, it goes in like that. Okay. I actually shouldn't panel. I don't have to panel line these because very little of it is shown. So now I know that. So now I know very little of this is actually shown because I'm not going to mess around with it. Because even if I do... Oh, wait. If I do the other version of this, where it's open, they're a little more visible. Still not that visible. Oh, no, they are visible if I do the other thing. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I'll do them anyway. It looks cool. It does look cool. I'm sticking with the Steven Zapata hope of just flooding their models with night shaded images for total model collapse. Yeah, I mean, that is certainly a method. That is certainly a response to this. Is just keep fucking it up for them. Make it so they know no peace. That is a method. Yes. Yes, oh, certainly. Here's the thing. Companies will use they'll use AI to generate things, for sure. Now, also, you do have to remember that, if it's a movie poster or posters, that means that somebody hired somebody to hire somebody to make that, and then it got approved all the way up, which is a little different. It means that they didn't disprove whoever did the posters for them, which they should have. Instead, they were just like, oh, yes, actually, that's fine. Where instead they should have been like, no, what are you doing? Do it well. It's like, what? Why does this look bad? Which they should be saying. But instead, they were like, great. Checks out. Looks good to me. Which is frustrating. But yeah, they don't mind using it, but they don't want other people to use their things. So that's the hope, is that there's enough big companies that are like, hey, fuck you. You don't get to do that. We own the Hulk, so we can make AI Hulks all we want. All right. We'll probably talk a little bit about Bobby Kotick on Monday. I am hoping there's actually, I had heard there will be somebody is doing some reporting and might have more to say about that on Monday. So on Monday, we'll hopefully be able to talk about more about the lawsuits. Basically, Bobby Kotick is suing for defamation for people reporting things, which is always hilarious and fun. But Bobby Kotick has more time and money than he has common sense, because he could just go fuck off. But instead, he's going to try to sue a website that is not currently owned by the people he's suing. So that's fun. But yes, he's just got time to make people's life more difficult, which is great. It's a great look, Bobby. Great look. And part of the thing he's suing for, okay, we'll talk more about it on Monday. Part of the thing he's suing for is that they were wrong about some things they said in the articles, which they did correct. Fun Bob. Fun Bobbas. All right, we'll go over here. Now is the part of the stream Yes. Now is the part of the stream where I am going to talk to you about ways that you, the viewer, can support me and what I do here. Everything I'm about to talk to you is optional. Obviously, you don't have to do any of these things. If you would like to, I would love that. But again, you don't have to do anything. You being here is the most important thing. It's great that you're here. If you're watching on your phone, you're watching on your computer. If I'm your second screen while you're bottle kit building yourself or just doing whatever, you got me on in the kitchen, you got one headphone in while you're doing some cooking, whatever you're doing. I'm happy to be part of your life. So thank you very much. But if you want to like put your money where your mouth is, you could. First and foremost, let's see anybody here who is a subscriber can throw the bear cave, the Lego, the scythe, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here financially because you're already here on Twitch. So if you want to support me, you could. You could use your Prime gaming token. If you Amazon Prime link to your Twitch, you get a token. You can use that for anybody. If you want to use it for me, that would be great. Or you can just use cash money. You could be like Puppet Jared, my old friend Jake, and you could gift a sub. We are currently at 30 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about how many subscribers I have once I hit 40. So if you want to subscribe or gift a sub, you could do that. That is a way to support what I do here if you want to. Again, optional. You don't have to do that. Bits and coins are also always appreciated. If you want to join the cheerleader board, you could do that. And there's other ways to support me. That's just the easiest one. You could go to my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over on my Patreon, you could join at the $1, $3, $5, or $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon if you wanted to. If you don't want to, then don't. That's also okay. See if there's a tier that's right for you. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. You could become a subscriber there for free, $0.99 or $0.00. But if you want to spend $2, you become a member over there. And for just $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday, which is pretty neat. Go ahead of other people. You can find out next Wednesday's video. You'll see on Tuesday. That sounds pretty good. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you just want to throw $1 or $2 in my tip jar, you can always go to my PayPal or my Ko-Fi directly and give a little donation there. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And I take money out of that fund every month to buy model kits and Lego sets, to build those. I was able to buy this kit that we're almost done with because of your past generosity. So past you helps present me. And if you want to help future me, you can do anything like that. I know what I'm building next. It's a fun Lego set. It's another 3-in-1 that I'm excited to do. Yes, Dizzy mentions if you sign up to Patreon, do not do it through Apple. Also with Twitch, hey, don't sign up to things through Apple, through iOS. Always go to the website on a PC or a laptop or whatever. Don't go through Apple's iOS ecosystem because you're going to pay extra. None of my patrons go through Apple because I can see that. Also, not only does they take money that I don't get through Patreon, Patreon delays the money that you send them. They take the money through Apple and then Patreon delays that. So if you do subscribe to anyone's Patreon through Apple, it takes longer for the person you're supporting to get that money, which sucks. Twitch, as far as I know, doesn't do that, but they still have to pay the Apple tax. So yeah, you don't want to do it. Those are all monthly ways to support me. As I said, I know what I'm building next. If you want to have a say in what I'm building here, you could buy something from my Amazon wish list. If you buy from my wish list, it'll come to me in the mail. You'll get a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you purchased, and it jumps the queue. And it becomes the next time I've got to start something new, it'll be the thing that you bought. Because that's the least I could do is to build your thing next. I've got model kits and Lego sets. I got inexpensive things. I got expensive, very expensive things. Some small little kits and some like weird, expensive nightmare things. Some gear. I recently added a bunch of Lego to the list. And so see if there's any Lego there. Like if you want me to build the the Lego City donut truck, which is just like a food truck with a donut on it. I'd love to build that little thing. I think that thing looks rad. And some cars and some model kits, all kinds of things. Kits with free shipping, kits without free shipping, all kinds of things and things. See if there's something there that you'd like to see me put together, and you can pick that up and send it to me, and then I'll build it on stream. I said that I had built all of Char's red friends. There's technically one I haven't built yet. From Char's counterattack, I have not built the Jacked Doga. The JCT Doga is a kit that I have not built. It is a big red friend that I would like to build. That's on my wish list. If you want to buy that for me to build, you could do that. If you don't want to buy things from Amazon, I totally get it. I have a wish list on Throne. See if there's something there you'd like to see me build. And then if you want to support me financially in the most convoluted and complicated way possible, if that's what makes you happy, well, you can go to USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card there. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then send a whisper to me here on Twitch or a DM through my various means. I don't know, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Twitter. You could send that out, and that is a way to support me by sending me that gift card code, which I will then use to buy something from USA Gundam Store. Wild, I know, but I will do that. If you want to support me, but you don't have the cash, or you just don't want to spend any money, you can always just hang out in my Discord. I post build photos there after every stream. People post stuff they're working on. People just kind of send me links of things they think I'd be interested in. It is a nice, chill little place. If you want to go hang out in my Discord, we'd love to have you over there. Couple video links. I will have a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club up on Monday. The current episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club is me talking about what was that video about? Oh God, why did my mind blank? Oh, it's the joy of being anime only. It is my video essay about how sometimes it's just cool to not know. Sometimes it's because the manga goes wrong and you don't need to see that. Or sometimes it's just like, I don't know, the manga is better in some ways, but the anime is still good, and who cares? Or maybe you like a filler arc or a filler episode, and manga purists will be like, that episode sucks. And you're like, but Goku learns to drive. It's really a good episode. Because sometimes people say all filler is bad. And I'm like, well, Goku and Piccolo went to go learn how to drive, and that's very good. So I don't know. I don't know about that. And then Kuma Baer, which is my weekly anime recommendation series, where every week I have another anime in a minute I try to explain to you why you should check out the thing that I have made. Or the video that I made, and why you should watch the original. In this case, I'm talking about the anime Diary of Our Days at the Breakwater, which is a phenomenal slice of life series about friendship and fishing. It's very cute. And so I was like, hey, you should go check that out. So I made a minute-long video about why you should watch that. So watch that episode of Kuma Baer. Dizzy says, sometimes the author has horrible health issues and the manga never gets finished, so at least the anime has something resembling an ending. Yes, Hunter x Hunter is a great example. Nana, yeah, Hunter x Hunter is a great example of that. There's some closure. And there's like, here's what's going to happen next. And does the anime make you think the next thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a ship where a bunch of people are trying to murder each other for weird, and it gets really heady and weird? No, the anime does not imply that that's going to happen. But you don't really need to know that. Lashmer says, Goku learning to drive is fun, but my favorite is when Cyborg Tao runs into Gohan, realizes who he is, and immediately runs away. Yes, the bringing back Mercenary Tao as a cyborg and having him interact with Gohan, who is in Super Saiyan form, and thinking that's Goku is very funny. And then realizing, oh no, that's Goku's son, is a very funny filler episode. Yes, Gohan meeting a girl and helping that girl out is a fun bit of business. That's some good shit. You're not wrong. Okay. Vegeta losing to a gag character, also fun. Yeah, I didn't know if that was not in the manga. From Super, him fighting. I didn't know if the Dr. Slump crossover, because Dr. Slump characters do appear in Dragon Ball in the manga and in the anime, so I don't know if that was also in not in the Super manga, but that is good. That is good shit. Vegeta realizing he can't win because he's facing a character that does not obey any of the world's laws. He's very fun. Realizing like, oh, I can't beat this. There's no way I can beat this. That's very funny. And I love that. There's one episode of the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoon where Wile E. Coyote recognizes that gadgets will not help him. He cannot overcome it, and the only way to win is to not do it. And so he gives up, and then the Roadrunner just appears in front of him, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'll see you later." And then he just turns and walks away, and it's like a weird non sequitur. It's not a non sequitur. It's a weird non-ending, and it's the best episode of that because it's just like, oh wow, he finally figured it out. He should stop doing this shit. That's great. The cat episode of Code Geass where they all just chasing a cat with a helmet and it's a fun school day before everything gets grim again. Yes. And and the thing is, in the manga, you might not need that, right? That's the thing we don't talk about with filler, is that sometimes filler is because manga comes out, sometimes it comes out weekly, but mangaka take breaks. Or it might be monthly. It might be a monthly comic. And you've had like 3 weeks to process it, or 4 weeks to process it, I should say. And then you're like, okay, we can go. Whereas anime is just like, if it's done properly, they want to put out 12 episodes in a row. They want you to spend 3 months with a thing. Or 11, or 13, or 10. If you're, some anime used to do 10 episodes when they were like, fuck, we really only have the one arc, and the second arc isn't good. So, shit. We'll do 10 episodes. Or sometimes they trim for time, like Sakamoto Days, cutting out 10 chapters. That's just gag manga for the anime. Yes, which we're going to talk about the episodes 9 and 10 of Sakamoto Days. That is in the video that I made there. I talk about how Sakamoto Days has this like beautiful juxtaposition in its art styles, which works in manga, and they didn't do in the anime, but it's okay because it doesn't need it. The anime works without this unbelievable juxtaposition of art styles between the two sides of Sakamoto. Taro's two halves of his two different parts of his life. You don't need that. It's great in a manga. You don't need it in the anime. So it's not missing that thing. Like, because you can do other things to present that. And it's no problem. So you don't need it. And I know some people were like, oh, it's a bummer that's not in there. And it's like, well, I guess, but like, if you're anime only, you don't know it's a bummer. You still win. All right, so I am going to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera. And I'm going to drink some water, and then we're going to talk about Sakamoto Days, episodes 9 and 10, and we will do that right now. All right, so these are F. I remember these are F, and these are going to be parts of I. These are going to be parts of I. And to build parts of I, we need more of these connectors. Not this piece, but we need the other short connector. The other two short connectors. And then we need to build one more set of parts here. And so we will do that. And we're going to talk about Sakamoto Days. Dizzy asks, as the foremost Gundam expert on Twitch, Are you a Zaku person or a Leo person? I have built on this stream. So on this stream, I like to say that I am the premier Death Scythe builder because I love the Death Scythe. It's my favorite mobile suit of all time. I love any version of the Death Scythe. I have built every single variant of the Death Scythe. I have built kits that are inspired by the Death Scythe. I have built kits that just have a scythe. Love that shit. Always want to build it. But if you actually looked at the model kits I have built more Zaku 2s than anything else because there are so many between RE100s and regular Zaku's and Zaku 2s. I've definitely built more Zaku 2 variants than I've built Death Scythe variants. By far. I think I've built more Death Scythes, more Zaku 2s than anything else. That might be my own biases showing and might not be actually true, but it feels very true. I love a Death Scythe. And I love a Zaku 2. I think Zaku 2s are probably my favorite grunts of any kit. So, to me anyway, as far as I know, I'm more of a Zaku person than a Leo person. I like the Leo. Don't get me wrong. I do like it, but I don't know. Also, the cousin of the Zaku, the Goof. The Goof is a top tier, of course. I have to give a shout out to the Goof because the Goof is a fucking phenomenal mobile suit and also a dumb name. And so you can't go wrong with a Goof. I love a Goof. All right, so I need E9 and 10, and then E9 and 10, and then E8 and 7, or EC. Okay, so we'll do that. What about the Goof Troop, Lord Crashington? That's just silly of you to say. Of course, I love Goof Troop. Big fan of Max. Max PJ. Come on, PJ. The sister whose name I can't remember, the little sister. Come on, get out of here. Goofy just doing his fucking best with his teenage son, just trying real hard. Come on. Of course I love Goof Troop. Come on. All right, episode 9 of Sakamoto Days. Things have gotten wild here. I did not expect that as we started getting deeper. Well, on the one hand, there's a whole batch of characters in the show I don't particularly care about. Okay, you're a Dom guy. I hear you. I understand. There's a bunch of characters in the show I don't particularly care about. That's my fault. That's fine. But I loved all of the backstory we were getting when it comes to our guy who has psychic powers, which they don't ever explain. They haven't so far explained it, why our man who can be heavy set can also be not heavy set. But they were like, we need to explain how that guy can read minds. That's important. So Taro and Kashimo are talking about their life views. People are trying to find Shin, who is out there somewhere. Everybody's like trying to stay alive. There are killers and killers of killers, and it's all complicated. We had Seba coming in there. Hesuke and his rebounding bullets. No, Dizzy, I don't think so, because I'm going to keep watching the show, so I don't need that's the thing, right? Like if I really needed to know, I would find out, but I don't need to know because it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh, well, this explanation does, I desperately need an explanation of this thing. It's just like, no, I just think it's fun that they're like, this isn't explained right now. But this is. We definitely need to explain mind reading. We don't need to explain other things. Yes, he is a good idiot. I do like him as well. Seba stabs Hesuke with a knife. That fucking sucks. Uh, he shoots he shoots the fire sprinklers, which then ruins Seba's ability to be invisible, because that was technology, not a latent ability. So that's great. We love that. Um, uh, Shin then attacks Seba. There's an explosion. And then we find out via explanation to Taro, we also learn that there was a system that would explode the whole lab if the secrets got out, which feels like probably smart. Obviously, it's fucked, but that's probably the right idea. So they're like, we got 20 minutes before everything explodes. And Taro's like, I probably need like 5 minutes. I think it'll be okay. So then Taro and Kashimo fight. Kashimo's just like, well, just so you know, I'm immortal. And I guess he doesn't know that Taro isn't going to kill him anyway, because that Taro has promised he's not going to kill. So to me, it's just like, are you impervious to damage? Because being immortal isn't going to stop Taro from beating you up real bad. Like, that's just like, I don't know. I hope you're impervious to pain or whatever, because like Taro's very good at beating dudes up and not killing them right now. We do have a flashback here. They started fighting in a subway tunnel, and then on a train. Well, I mean, his wife's gonna leave him and take the kid if he kills, so he can't risk that. We have a very unnecessary but kind of interesting flashback with Kashimo being like, "Why are people mad at me because that I kill people?" And it's just like, okay, all right, I guess. And he's like, assassinations are good, actually. Like, all right. And then those people who have been bad-mouthing Kashimo die by the person we assume is this mystery final boss named Slur, who then approaches Kashimo and accepts Kashimo. So then we're back in the present. And now we have motivation. The Kashimo's just like, I am going to fight for, to protect the person who believes in me and accepts me. And it's like, okay. He does lose. So, oops, sorry, but you did lose. Assassination increases the surplus population, as Scrooge would put it. Sure, yes, definitely. Taro leaves and lets Shin know, like, hey, I beat this guy. We're good. We got to find, and Taro's like, we need to find Lou, and we have, he kept his word. He did beat him in 5 minutes. He's like, we have 15 minutes to get out of here. They all meet up. Everyone goes out. They come up with an escape plan. And they all have to break apart and go do a bunch of different things. There's some stuff in... they find footage. Somebody finds footage of Slur chatting with Kashimo and the leaders, and they can't see Slur's face to identify them. Shin tells Asakura that there are people, and they got to go help those people. Shin and Slur meet up, and Slur walks by Shin and tells him to greet. It's like, basically just like, hey, say hi to Sakamoto for me. And then he disappears, which is spooky and cool. Eventually, everyone gets out of the lab, and the scientists are just like, Shin, we're sorry. And also, yeah, it's probably okay that the lab got destroyed after, everything that happened. It's probably all right. Asakura meets up with Taro and asks the friends to look after Shin, which is very nice and bittersweet little moment. So then we cut to a bunch of them Taro having, and the crew having food with the wife and the kid. Shin and Lou are arguing again. Just get a room, you two. Come on, what are we talking about here? Taro kind of messes with them and then gets yelled at, and everyone's eating, and it's fun. That is a fun episode. It's episode 9, and we're finally kind of seeing the big bad, which is cool, that we're seeing Slur or X and their whole deal. So that was cool. It'll be interesting to see more about this person and their philosophy. Do they believe what they were saying? Are they just using people? What's the deal? And can Taro defeat them without killing them? I don't know. But also, would have kind of been nice to see a little more of the Doctor and Shin. Would have been nice there. Resurgence of there's no way this guy is going to lose, but it's still super fun to see anime between that and Mashle. Yes. Overpowered main characters don't have to be completely bland viewing experiences. You can add some drama in there, even if drama isn't that. Now, you do run into an issue, and Mashle is very guilty of this, and I will say Sakamoto is not guilty of the characters who exist only to be freaked out and think that what's about to happen isn't going to happen, and there's no way what we the audience know is going to happen isn't going to happen, because Mashle, he's going to use his muscles. Our boy Mash is going to use his muscles, and he's going to do impossible things with muscles and win the day. And I understand why a person who is new to this whole scene would look at that and go, he's going to die. You have to step. He doesn't have any magic. You have to step in. Or I'm confident I can beat you because you don't have any magic. Eventually, that does get old to me. Mashle's manga had the good sense, and the joke before it got stale was maybe the best version of the joke I've ever read. Yeah, I just one of those things where I can understand why some people are just like, I can't do this. Especially the overpowered main character. I'm reading a manhwa called was it Disastrous Necromancer? And they just recently introduced a character that doesn't believe that our main character is as strong as he is. And so there was a whole chapter of a bunch of people being like, he's so rad. He's going to do it and break records. And he's farming the hell difficulty. And she's being like, that's impossible. And they're being like, oh, you don't know this dude. And it was just this is 100 and something chapters into this manhwa. Why are we doing this again? I don't care that she doesn't believe in him. I know that he can do it. Why are we introducing another new character that is shocked? That's a framing device to introduce us to things that shouldn't be the fucking whole thing. It was just kind of frustrating. I got weirdly hot about it. I was like, why are we doing this again? We don't have to do this again. We already did this. A good sense to pivot to make the stakes around the people that are not One Punch Man. Yes. At a certain point, you just got tired of writing. It just seems like you got tired of writing stories about One Punch Man, and you started writing stories about other characters within the world, which I think is totally fair. There are some very good manhwa out there. I am not going to rattle off a bunch of them because if that's not your subgenre, that's not your subgenre. But I enjoyed, I think, almost all of Solo Leveling. I think Solo Leveling was phenomenal. I'm not going to go through all of them that I have enjoyed, but I've certainly enjoyed some manhwa in my day. We're getting another adaptation that I didn't think would ever get adapted. I'll talk about that, in the coming weeks when we talk about next season. But there is a show coming out next season that I never thought would be adapted because it's so fucking sad and dark and slow that I'm like, they must be chopping out 100 chapters to adapt this because so much of the beginning of I don't remember the exact name of the title. It's like Time After the Beginning, or the beginning after the end. And there's so much of it just him growing stronger, isolated from everyone, that I'm like, how much of this are they going to skip? Or are they not going to skip? They're just going to try to tell a really slow story with it. I don't know. We do have one more episode to talk about here. We'll talk about episode 10 of season 1 of Sakamoto Days, which is some bathhouse stuff. It's one of those things where I'm like, wait, are we getting a fan service episode? And it's like, no, not really. It's just that we're just getting a fun episode. And it's like, okay, well, I'll take a fun episode. Fun-ish episode. I don't want to say that it's a totally fun episode, but it's a fun-ish episode. We got Shin and Lu together again. Just, you know, get it together. Figure this out. Or y'all gonna kiss? What's going on? They're tired from the fight, in the lab fight. Basically, the previous arc. They're just tired of what happened. And then Taro's just like, well, we should like go to the hot spring. We should take like a relaxing vacation. We should make it like a company vacation, family vacation, which is lovely. And go there. And he's like, knowing when to rest is very important in becoming a first-class hitman, which is speaking Shin's language. There is a moment where a cashier recognizes Taro, and we find out that the cashier is a amateurish hitman named Utaro. And Utaro basically Utaro is like, I'm gonna kill Sakamoto. I'm gonna fucking figure out how to kill Sakamoto, which is like a wild decision. It is to me, that is a wild decision to be like that. If you're just like, I'm an amateur, I'm gonna beat the legendary assassin. But you know what? We gotta have an episode. We gotta have something happen in this episode. And so the thing we're having this episode is, this guy's going to try to kill this other person. Sorry, I have to figure out how this works. Okay, so this goes like, this goes in here. There we go. These are layered, so I have to stack them like that. And then they go into the backpack. This looks cool. And then there's a piece that locks them in place that I'll do in a second. He just really wanted free band-aids. Yeah. Shin and Taro try out jet baths. That's fun. And then Utaro is kind of plotting. Shin gets sent flying across the room and gets hurt. And it does not affect Taro at all. So we're getting a little slapsticky. We're getting a little bit of the slapstick humor in this particular scenario. They go into a sauna. Utaro activates another switch, another ability, and the room temperature increases, but Taro doesn't feel it. And then we just have we have more hijinks where he's just trying to kill Taro through various shenanigans, and it's not working. And then the whole crew meets up together. And Utaro feels like he really messed that up and didn't do it. And so we have like him kind of reflecting. Apparently he told his dad that he wanted to become an assassin, and his dad was like, what if instead of being an assassin, you ran this our area here, you just ran the business, the family business. And how Utaro left. Two men show up to taunt and mess with Utaro, which is rude. They're being rude dudes. Wait, did I do this wrong? I might have. Somehow I did this. How did I do this wrong? How did I do this? This should go in like this. And then this should go like... Okay. I figured it out. Sorry, everybody. Oh, yeah, and there's clips that close this up. I thought for sure I would start the Lego kit tonight. We're not starting the Lego kit tonight because I think we're going to finish this up here. Oops. I forgot there's a piece that has to go on until oh, okay, so then it does. How did I do this? How did I do this wrong? This is the only piece that can go in this way. Okay, so this goes in like this, which means that this has to go here. Okay, all right. I'm figuring it out now. Sorry, everybody. This is complicated, but also I'm messing it up. It is a dual problem of me goofing around and not getting it right, and then also it being a complicated thing. Okay. So this is the one version of these. So we did that, and then there's D2 and D2. Lock it in place so that the things don't fall apart, which is nice. I know they abandoned a lot of it. I'm still glad there's still some gag manga roots in Sakamoto. Yeah, I think, like, you know, it's an adaptation, right? And so they still want it to be an action series because they're going for the shonen audience of the action stuff. But it does have some moments of levity, and I think those moments of levity are really fun. And so I'm happy there. Taro beats up the people that have attacked Yutaro. And Yutaro learns that Taru knew this whole time, Sakamoto knew this whole time what was happening. But he's like, no, thanks. You did a bunch of stuff here, and I thought that was very fun. I had a good time showing all this stuff. So they all leave. And then Yutaro, that little scene ends with Yutaro calling up his dad and saying, I want to take over the family business, which is lovely. Lovely bit of business. And that he doesn't want to be Hitman anymore. Later, I guess, there is a mysterious man and a mysterious woman. And then we cut to Shin, Lou, and Taro, and they're at a restaurant. And Lou basically is talking about how she likes this life. It's very funny because she's just like, you know what? I kind of really like the life we have here. In this laid back life, and then immediately two dudes show up to attack, and then they get beat up, and it's a good little scene. And one of the men's name is Wu-Tang, and to which I said, "What the fuck? There's a character named Wu-Tang in this show? I already loved it, and now they're telling me there's a character named Wu-Tang. Fuck yeah, this rules." I was very happy to be introduced to Wu-Tang. He is someone to fuck with, though. So you can fuck around with Wu-Tang if you want to. All right, so we have done one version of the backpack, and now we're going to do the other version of the backpack, which is involves taking all these things apart and then sticking them on other backpack pieces. This backpack piece here. Wu-Tang is the new Wu-Tang basically tells Lou, I want you to become the new leader of the mafia, of your old family. And she's just like, no. So she's like, all right, well, what about a duel? And he's like, if you win, then I'll tell you about I'll tell you information about who put a bounty out on Sakamoto, which is like, how does this guy fucking know that? But they're like, and Taro and Shin are just like, no, because they'll honestly, they'll just fucking find out. They don't want to put their friend and coworker at risk, which is awesome because they're good dudes and they're willing to just go without. But she's just like, all right, I accept the terms. They change some clothes and they go to an underground casino, and they are going to be competing in a game Uh, and basically, there it is. Whoever brings in the most money wins. And that's where Taro and Shin are like, we don't really know much about this. We're not like equipped for this. I don't know how we're gonna do this thing. And it's just like, that's probably bad. It's probably bad that they don't know how to do this. All right, so I'm gonna get this together here. I'm gonna do it like this. And now we're basically detaching all of these parts here, taking this all off, put that in the pile there, and then we need to reattach things. This is the long ones go here. No. Can go there. Did it right? Is that the long one there? Yes, okay. So the long one goes on there. The long one goes on here. And then yeah, so they're not good at this. And they're like, that's gonna be bad. And apparently Wu-Tang, because he set up the game, he's very good at gambling and playing casino games. He's already tripled his money. And he's definitely gonna win. We cut away to Seba and Tanaka talking. Tanaka's out of a job, and Seba is like, have you ever thought about maybe opening a crepe cafe, to the effect of just being like, we should probably just do that. I think that would be a cool thing if we did that, which I thought was very funny and fun. That's a fun bit of business. Okay, so this is not right, which means that it goes here, and then this goes here. Oops, that goes here then. No. It doesn't go there, then it must go here. It goes this way. I got it. And then this goes here. So this is the other version of the backpack that we can do. Meanwhile, they go off and we cut to them actually doing it. They have started up a job. They are making crepes. That is now a thing that they are doing, which is, to me, very funny. It's a fun gag, fun visual. And then Hana and Lou go and visit the stand, and they have to disguise themselves. And the girls come home and eat the crepes. And then there's a news report about how the crepe stand is doing, which seems weird that there's a whole report about how cool this crepe stand is. And I was like, what are you talking about? And that's the end of the episode, and they're just talking about crepes. It's a weird end. We introduced Wu-Tang, which is fun. It gave us a little weird side story. This could be a chance to see more about Lou in the next two episodes. It does feel like the lab story and the Shin story maybe was the climax of the first season, but I'm willing to see where they go with it. I don't know. I still really like the show. I'm excited for more. We do have a little bit of time left on the stream, and I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I always want to hear from you about what you got going on, so take this as an opportunity to tell me in the chat if you're playing any video games, if you're reading anything, if you went to the movies or whatever, if you want to talk about your weekend. You got plenty of things you can let me know about, because I always love hearing from you about that. I will say that your friend Pat has been mostly just here at home. We talked about it. Dizzy's still enjoying the pit. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Today's episode of Solo Leveling was really good, except there are a lot of CG monsters in this episode, and to make that work, they did use some CGI was used for some of the monsters that didn't look great. I would say most of Solo Leveling is phenomenally animated, and so that was a shame that this one particular sequence didn't look particularly good. But I'm still really enjoying it. I'm excited to see what happens next episode. I mean, I know, but I'm still excited for it. And yeah, it's still a wild, cool show that I enjoy very much. All right, so this is another way that you can do the wings. And then the third way is to take all these parts off and replace them with things. So I'm going to do every version of the wings here because we're going to stick with the last one. So you can also do the wings like this. Are you excited for Lazarus at all? I am hoping Watanabe can escape the Adult Swim curse. Yes. I think that, I think that Watanabe with the studio support, that there are just too many good people are involved, and as long as the money is still coming through, I think that Lazarus could be cool. And also, I think that it's I think original and source material stuff are treated differently and could be different, and that'll be good. Ghost Valve got back from Commander Night. Fun games with no wins. That's a bummer, but I'm glad you had fun time with it. Finished the story, aka the tutorial for Monster Hunter Wilds just now. Already roped into helping on house projects tomorrow. I hear ya. Yeah, I'm doing I'm mowing the lawn because down here the weeds are starting to come up. So we're getting a lot of weeds, which obviously sucks. So there are a lot of weeds coming up, and so I am going to use the mulcher on the lawnmower to just get up and move the thing up and just kind of collect all the weeds. And then by using the mulcher, the hope is that by doing that, I am making it so that the seeds from the weeds don't fall back down and get collected. And then we hopefully fight that. Because we also use weed killer, but you don't want to use weed killer all over the lawn. You just want to use it in select places. So, and also sometimes weed killer doesn't know all the new weeds to kill. All right, so now I need the new version of the backpack, which is to take all these parts off and then put effect parts on. And I don't quite know how to do that. We have enough time to do that before we gotta go. Before I gotta go. So E is B on the left wing. This is the right wing. All right, so the big pieces go here. E and A go on the outside here like this. Oh, okay, so I gotta pop them through. Oh. So that goes on one. So basically, I'm putting them like this, and then it'll fit in like that. Do I have enough time to do this? I think I have enough time to do this. Last week says, in non-gaming, I went and took a bunch of pictures of the lunar eclipse. Oh, nice. It was so cloudy, I couldn't see it. A couple nights ago, it was a learning experience about how the limitations of my current gear. Other than that, you installed a 5080 FE and a new exhaust fan on my PC today. I'm playing a thing called running a bunch of stuff and seeing how much it runs better. Hell yeah, hell yeah. I can actually complete Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark now. Nice. All the new settings for control look really good. I wish it had New Game Plus. Oh yeah, that would be nice. That's awesome. My computer is still holding up. We'll see. I have heard some people have had some crashes on the PC version of 2K25, and that has not happened to me yet, but we'll find out on Tuesday if that is going to happen to me. I hope it doesn't. Let's see. What else? Dizzy says, Lord Crash says, I got MLB The Show 25, which has been fun. They finally fixed an issue that caused players' glasses to disappear at random times and not just available for my players to wear at all times. so bummed the game's seemingly never come to PC. And then Dizzy says, oh, also, if you have Max, the one to watch, and like anime references wrestling, give Invincible Fight Girl a go. Invincible, not Invisible, different show. They straight up recreate their own version of the first You Say Run scene. Nice. Yeah, I've heard fun things about that show. I haven't watched any of it, but I've heard some fun things. All right, let's see here. So this is going to go like this, basically. So then this one goes this way, which means that we do it like this. The fact that it didn't pop out these little pegs is really frustrating because well, that worked out. Okay, so these go like that. And then F and B are the next ones. Which is these ones here. These effect bars look very cool, though. Invisible Fight Girl rules. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have not seen that. I do not have Max, but that does sound cool. Because I have access to... I don't pay for it, but I have access to cable television because my parents pay for cable television. So I have access to cable television, so... the one thing I really would want Max for is pro wrestling, and I don't need that from them for that. So, because I have it. All right, so these got to go like this then. I am not gonna do this part. These effect parts look cool, but they look like these are a pain in the ass. So I am making the choice to not do these. They do look cool. I will go back and do a backpack for this, a proper backpack for this, because I do want to display this, probably without the gun and instead with the swords. So I am going to display this kit. I am going to go and do like one of the other two backpack versions and not the effects versions because it seems very fiddly and I don't like that. Hell yeah. Sailor Moon is very 80s. You're not wrong. All right, I'm going to wrap up the stream. I hope you all had a great evening. I had a good time. Again, we finished up this kit, didn't start the next thing, but that's okay. We are going to raid. That is how we're going to end tonight's stream. We're going to go on a raid and go find somebody doing cool shit and go hang out with them. I will be back on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern to continue to do what I do best, which is build Lego and model kits. We're going to start a new Lego set. The Lego flatbed truck with helicopter 3-in-1, which will be fun. We are going to go raid somebody, and then I'm going to go and watch some wrestling with friends in a Discord, and that'll be very fun for me. Hell yeah, Arthur Geese is playing Doom. And that's very fun. Arthur is great, and Doom is good. So we'll go hang out with Arthur as he plays some Doom. So feel free to come along on this raid. I hope you had a great Saturday stream with me. I did, and I hope you had fun too. Again, my next stream will be Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Let me switch back to this. Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Come back for that. I'm starting a new Lego set. I will have this kit on display. This was really fun to build. I hope you come on the raid with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.